we're nearing the end of this particular landscape design. What I want to do now is just print a PDF file of the overall design and just see how our choice of text height and so on works. But before I do that, I want to put in the title block information, and that's done by using a block, the block option, this option here, and we've got a block called Mahoney title block, and I'm going to insert that into this particular drawing. So you can see that the title block is anchored at the bottom right, so I can zoom in and pan across using the wheel of the mouse, and I'll set the logo for, not the logo, but the title block information itself, set it in here. The next thing to do is to bring in the logo for the company. So in that case, we need to add it from another file and pick up the logo, and we're going to put it, we're going to insert it now and insert into the drawing, and in it goes. Now you can see, I think that the logo looks a little large. Because it comes in as a single entity, you can just select it, right click and scale, and I think if we scale that by 50%, we'll have the logo in a reasonable size and position. So I'll right click and zoom extents. So now what I want to do is just print a PDF version of this design, just see how it would look, because we're getting near to the point where we could send this to a client. I'd like to dress it up with some images showing the type of species that we're going to use, but that, because we'll have those all in a database, won't be a difficult task. So it's File and Print, and I'll just use a window pick at the moment. Later I'll pick Print to Paper, but we're going to print what we see there. We're going to fit it to the paper, not worried about the scale at the moment, even though in the title block it does say a scale of 1 inch equals 8 feet, and so we're nearly ready to print. I've got a Phantom Qt PDF writer installed, so it's just a matter of going OK. And what that's now going to do is to write that off as a PDF file, and I'll get an opportunity to put that PDF file somewhere in a moment. When it pops up, I'll go up, 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 and just leave it in. In fact, the best place to put it at the moment would be on the desktop, and I'll call this test PDF and save. So now when I go to the desktop, I should have a drawing there. I'll right click and zoom extents. When I go to the desktop now, and we should have one called test PDF. So I double click on it. That should start Acrobat Reader. It's as though you've given the file to a client. And so we should see the PDF version of what we've been working with. And there it is. So the plant schedule is shown on the right hand side and the design here. So if I move to the bottom of the screen, or maybe right click, I can do a marquee of the zoom. So let's just have a look at, we're fairly familiar with that front entrance, just have a look at what we've achieved. The shadowing that we've been putting on works reasonably well. We might add some more shadowing to that symbol there and some symbols over here that have not been shadowed. I'll zoom out a little and look at another area. Maybe we can zoom in on this area here, because we had some interesting shapes for symbols showing there, and I'm quite happy with that. Control 0 gives me the whole screen. Dynamic marquee zoom over the title block I want to look at, and what I now need to do is just to explode the title block information and update my scale, date and revisions and so on, and checked by that information can be dealt with reasonably easily. So we're relatively happy with the appearance of it. I'm wondering about the text height, whether the text height is appropriate. Let's take an area such as that. I'm inclined to change the text type just a little to pump it up. It's a bit difficult to assess here. That looks reasonable, but I think slightly larger text might help. So let's go back into our drawing, go back in here. The text is in a style called Style 1 Arc Chisel, and so that we can go, and that's most of that text has been done with a leader, so we can go into Dimension Styles, come in here to Text, and let's just pump it to 1 rather than 0.75, and over the entire drawing, just in one hit, every piece of text that's been done with that leader, and we've taken the trouble to make sure all text is done that way, just gets pumped up in size slightly. So you can see once you get organized and you keep things consistent, things really improve. So what I'll now do is go back and fine tune the design, putting some more shadowing in, and start looking for some good photographs of the species that have been used in this design to dress things up. I just noticed there a piece of text that hasn't been changed. So what I'll do is just select that, copy that text from there to there, and I'll get rid of the existing arrowhead and text which have all been broken up. And the beauty of using a leader is you can just move things around to suit and pick the text in that leader which says existing arboreta, and we can say existing rhododendron. And OK. So now I'll be inclined to move that to the right. You can see the advantage of the handles on the leader. So we're cleaning the drawing up, getting close to the point where we would want to print. That one can be moved across a little to tidy things up. There does seem to be a difference in text. Oh, that's just because that's an ordinary piece of text, and as is this. So I haven't changed these into leaders as yet, and that's why you're seeing a difference. That's just standard single line text, as is this, and the leader's been drawn with a line there and probably a polyline. Yes, it is a polyline, and there's a separate arrow being put on there. So I'd be inclined to change those to a leader.